So let's talk about mortgages and down payments. If you haven't put your name on it yet, do so. If you haven't put the date on it yet, do so. Today is November the 30th. 3 more weeks. Okay, so what is a mortgage? You probably heard that word before, but maybe you didn't know what it meant. A lot of kids are totally don't understand it. My own kid, he's 21, he doesn't understand it. Okay? A mortgage is simply a loan that the bank gives you to buy a house. It's got a special name. It's a big loan. Like how much money are we talking? Lots, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Lots of money. Okay? So it's a special loan the bank gives you to buy a house because houses cost so much. Generally, people need mortgages. Right? Most people cannot afford to just buy a house with like cash. Okay, so with such a large loan, the bank wants collateral. Highlight that word. Lou, I highlight that word. Collateral. You may not have ever heard that word before. That is something that the bank can take if you default on your loan. What does default mean? The default means not to pay, to miss a payment. Okay, stop paying. Default means to not pay them back. You got to pay them back. Okay, so collateral is something that the bank can take away. Have you ever been in a class where you had to borrow a pen or something or other, and the teacher takes something from you? Does that ever happen? Never? There were teachers one time they would take their kids' shoes. Why would they take the kids' shoes? They give them a pencil. Because they want the pencil back. And it's collateral. It's something that they take. It's like a damage deposit. Okay? Have you ever gone somewhere where you have to give a deposit on something, right? Same idea. That's what a mortgage is. But the collateral in this case is the house itself. If you don't pay your mortgage to the bank takes your house and they sell it to get their money back. Okay? So you got to pay your mortgage. That's a problem right now. That's why there's a lot of people that are worried about pandemic. They're not working, they don't have money, they can't make mortgage payments, they're worried that the bank will be taking their home away. Okay? Some people believe that the bank should be giving people breaks, right? What is the bank's business? When you go to Home Hardware, they're selling you hardware. When you go to Co-op, they're selling you groceries. When you go to the bank, what are they selling you? People don't think about this much. What do they sell you at the bank? Money. They're selling you money. Most people, certainly your age, right? When you go to the bank, you got a bank account, you're not buying anything in the bank, it's just a place to store your money. But they're in the business of selling you money. Okay? All right. So another way to reduce the risk of the bank is to insist on what's called a down payment. There's another word for you. You like to learn? Down payment. Underline. Down payment. This is the amount that you pay up front or at the start before you get the loan. Okay? You have to pay a certain amount before they give you the loan. They want some of your money. You're okay with the line? Yeah. You'll let us know if you want it down. If I see you doing this, then okay, just speak up. Okay, the minimum down payment in Canada is 5%. Minimum, the smallest amount. Minimum.
But they are going to jack it up to 15, eh?
Is that right? Didn't know that.
It hasn't been done yet, but it's going to be.
Okay. I haven't heard that. So the minimum, the smallest amount you can pay down is 5%. And I'm guessing the rationale is to try to get people to not get into homes they can't afford.
Yeah.
I guess, right? Yeah. Because that is the problem, is people are buying homes that they really can't afford. But the flip side of that is homes cost way more than they should, right? Like it's crazy. Yeah. Minimum down payment is 5%. Any down payment under 20% costs you more, as you have to buy what's called mortgage insurance. Okay, mortgage insurance. The bank wants to be sure that they get their money back. So if you haven't saved enough to pay 20% down, you have to buy what's called mortgage insurance. That's another cost. Okay, what's insurance? In this case, if you can't keep paying, the insurance will pay for it. But it costs to buy insurance. Buying homes is costly. Those live it. But the alternative is not so good. Okay. So let's talk about down payments first of all. First thing we gotta, remember we did converting percents to decimals? There was a reason for that. So you could do this question. So if you're converting these to decimals, 5%, well that's gonna be 0.05, right? 5%, 0.05. 7%, 0.07. Remember, it's divided by 100. 10%, 0.10. You should be able to finish the rest here. I'll pause and let you finish. Okay, so that's going to be 0.15, 0.20, 0.25 and so on. Usually, when you're younger and you don't have as much money, you start off making down payments that are small. Okay? And then as you grow older and you may buy bigger and bigger homes, you tend to make larger down payments. Okay? But try to make as big a down payment as you can. Okay. Determine the amount of the down payment for a $120,000 house at the following down payment rates. Before we even do that, let's just look and see. Let's just go to Remax Dauphine. That's the one I always use. That's the one I know. You can use any realtor in town. It doesn't really matter. Okay, let's just have a quick look here. See what they got. What is there between $100,000 and $150,000? Here's one for $149,000. Okay, not a bad looking little place, 8th Avenue Northeast, but it's basically it's $150,000. Right? And what was our question here? Was it 120? Okay. Is that it? They've only got one. Oh boy, Mrs. Stasko. Okay, here's some others here. So a home like this that you might have seen, right? This one here on Centennial, 184,000. Okay, that's what homes cost. Okay, this has 4 bathrooms. 4 bathrooms? Oh no, 4 bedrooms. 2 bathrooms. Okay, so just to give you an idea what we're talking about here. So $120,000, you're not going to get much of a house for $120,000. You're not going to get a very big place. It'll be small, probably old. Okay, so how much here? So you're going to take 5%, which is 0.05, and you simply multiply by 120,000.
Might get one in Ethelbert.
You might. Yeah. Yeah. It's shocking what. Although, I mean, we only buy 2 or 3 homes in our lives, a lot of people, right? So most of us that bought a home 20 years ago, we kind of, what? They go up, don't they? Okay, so the calculator, what's that going to be? 0.05 times 120,000. I know the answer, I can do it in my head, but I'm just pretending to do it on the calculator. 6,000. Right? You need 6,000 before you can buy the house. Before they give you the loan, you have to pay 6,000 down at the start to begin with. Okay, before you even get the loan. This one's going to be 7%. Same thing, it's the same house. Okay, now when you're buying a house, we're going to take 7% times 120 here. When you're buying a house, you go to the bank and they help you figure this out. Like, you don't have to know this going in or how to do this, but you got to understand what the bank person's saying. Okay? Obviously, these numbers are going to go up as we're going down here, right? This is going to be $12,000. Where does that $12,000 come from when you're buying a house? You have to have saved it. I can see it's bothering you now. You have to have saved it. So that's going to be right in the top here right away. Is that better the way? Yeah. Speak up. You have to have saved it. How long is it going to take someone to save $12,000? Couple weeks? Probably more. Considerably more, right? The sooner you start, the better. 15%. What's that going to be? I should be able to do this in my head, Mr. Stasko. 18,000, right? Well, that should be not that so much. And so on down the road. 2 times 120,000 is 24,000. You're not going to get a whole lot of questions like this on the test, like 1 or 2, right? We're just multiplying. That's all we're doing here. I don't really know this. Okay? Does everyone understand? At least give me the nod. I get it. Michelle, yeah? Makes sense? Yeah? Lula, makes sense? Avery, yeah? Okay. Everyone's good? Maybe there's someone watching at home. I'll see if they're nodding later. Hopefully not nodding off.
Got your little magic mirror.
Yeah.
I see you out there.
You're dating yourself.
Romper stomper, bonker blue.
Oh, man.
Yes, that's a big time dater.
Oh, man. Okay. Once you've paid the down payment, you need to borrow the rest of the money for the purchase. Okay, that is your mortgage, the amount that you borrow, the amount that the bank gives you. If we're still working with this magical $120,000 house that has 8 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms and an indoor pool, but it's, I won't say Ethelbert because that would be rude to the people in Ethelbert. Let's pick some other place to. It's out somewhere where not a lot of people live, right? So, yeah. Homes in big cities, like what would it cost to buy a home in Winnipeg? Do you guys have any? Okay. We're still going to work with $120,000. If the down payment is $6,000, what is the loan amount? What do we have to do? We're going to subtract Luai. We're going to subtract, right? We're going to take our $120,000, because if I'm selling Luai my house for $120,000, I get my $6,000. How much more does he owe? We're going to have to subtract. We're going to have to subtract to find out how much you owe. So that's going to be $114,000, isn't it? That is your loan amount or your mortgage. How much the bank will loan you, will lend to you, I guess is the proper term. $114,000. That's dollar sign. Okay, again, 8,400. Everyone is simply going to be what? Subtract. Everyone is going to be subtract. Right? You guys can do this. It's just subtraction. 120,000 minus 12,000. As your down payment goes up, as the amount that you pay at the start goes up, the amount that you have to borrow goes down. The opposites, right? Which is why, if you make a larger down payment, it's better for you because you have to borrow less. Costs you less. Subtract 18,000. Or I should be able to do that in my head. 102,000. How long do people take to pay off their homes? What do you think? I'm going to insist on someone answering this question. Avery, how long do you think it takes people to pay off homes? Weeks? Months? Years? Multiple choice. Which one of those 3? Years. You are correct. Peyton, how many years do you think? 5? 5 would be the absolute extreme lowest. Generally, people are paying for 25 years. 20 years possible. Okay? Some people, when you're buying homes in big cities like Winnipeg or Toronto or Vancouver, some people are paying for 40 years. I think 40 is the max, is it not? Is this accurate? Do you know?
Well, I guess in the technicality, generally they'll make it remortgage.
Yes.
After 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yes, it is very, very, very costly. Usually at this point, some kid says, I'm just going to live in my parents' basement the rest of my life. Nobody wants that. Kids nor the parents. Am I right?
Not true. I know a lot of people that started out of the basement, put their folks in the home, and the house was theirs.
Yeah, you know that, yeah, golly, the way we're going, right? It's increasingly hard for people your age to to buy homes, there's no doubt about that. I think my wife and I got lucky, we kinda got in just before it really seemed to go crazy, take off. Okay, so we're gonna just keep on subtracting here. This is gonna be, 96,000, I think. We're just gonna subtract. It's easy, we're just gonna subtract it. This is gonna be 90,000. Okay? Next lesson will be how much you're paying per month. Lots of money. Should everyone know this kind of stuff, at least have a basic understanding of this? Yes. Yes, even if you're never gonna buy a house, you need to understand. Okay? Is it better to rent a house, or is it better to buy? And the correct answer is it depends. What does it depend on? Let's say you have a university degree in, I don't know, history. You get a university degree in history. And you get a job in Toronto, but they say it's only a 2-year contract. After that, the job doesn't exist anymore. Should you buy a house in Toronto? Why not, Peggy? Right. And you're likely going to be moving. Likely. But maybe not. Maybe you think that, oh, maybe something else will come up, right? Okay. What if the housing market in Toronto is really, really low and prices are at a really, really historical low? Should you buy? Maybe, because the house price might go up. In 2 years, you might be able to sell and make some money. You might. Is there anyone in the room that can predict the future? Exactly what I thought. Nobody, right? So you never know. So it does depend. Renting or buying, you have to weigh both options. Okay? What's an advantage to buying? There's one or two major advantages. Any idea? After your 25 years of buying, do you have to keep paying? No more payments. You own the house, no more payments. After 25 years of renting, do you have to rent in year 26? You sure do. Okay? Is renting cheaper than buying, month by month? Likely. Okay? But the big advantage to buying is that you own the house at the end and you can stop paying. If you think you can get to that 25 years and be living there without making any more payments, then it's awesome.
The government throws curveballs at you.
Well, that's true.
And you end up having to give up your home because you can't pay taxes.
Well, that's usually municipal taxes. But yeah, that is true. People, and that has happened. What Mr. Stas was referring to as you have to pay taxes, property tax, and if your house price goes up and up and up and up, it may get to the point where you can't afford to pay the tax for the house, especially if you're in an area that's suddenly all of a sudden fancy and your house is worth it. Generally, you're able to sell a house for a profit, but you're right, you have to move. So people do need to understand all these things. Okay, so let's do a couple problems here. Sarah and Tyrell are looking at a $145,000 home. The bank insists on a minimum $5% down payment. How much do they need? I just picked a random house. I do not know if that's $145,000. Actually, it might have been when I picked it. Okay, so how do we do this? Let's read the question again. Am I still recording? Yeah. Sarah and Tyrell are looking at a $145,000 home. The bank insists on a minimum 5% down payment. How much do they need? How much do they have to have saved? So we're going to take 145,000 times by 5%, 0.05. 145 times 5%. They need to have saved $7,250 before they can get a loan. They need to have saved $7,000. Now? Easy? You guys can do these? Lacey and Zach have found a $160,000 house to buy. I believe this one was $160,000 in Dauphin. They have $9,000 saved. Do they have enough Do they have enough? Is 9,000 more than what they need? How much is the house? 160,000. It's 5%. 160 times 5%. 160 times 5% is 8,000. They need 8,000 for a down payment. They have 9,000. Do they have enough? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But I'm going to ask Mr. Stasko, do they really have enough?
Steve won't give them a loan for under 10% down.
Is that right?
Yeah.
His son is a bank lender,
Personal finance.
personal finance. Why 10%? Or that's just
10%, they won't even look at it.
the bank is, yeah.
It's too big a risk.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
All you can come up with is 5%, you probably can't pay your property taxes. If you
Right.
default somewhere along the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. But what my point was is that if they only have 8,000, are there other costs to buying a home? Like if you just have the down payment, is that enough? And the answer to that is no, it's not enough. You are likely going to have to pay a lawyer to help you. There is something called a land transfer tax. There's all sorts of costs along the way. Okay, even just like hooking up Westman cable or your Wi-Fi is going to cost you. Right? So you need to have that big pot of money to start buying. In other words, start saving.
Chances are the home's not gonna have a lot of furniture.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. If you see a quarter on the ground, pick it up, put it in the house savings account. Oh, that's it? That's all I got? Okay. Mr. Stasko, you want to hand these out here?
Sure.
We can do this assignment. You guys are going to finish this in no time, I think.